Dude, aliens, bro. Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I am John Maffio. Welcome, HD goodness. Mwah, mwah. Today's featured movie will be Dark Skies. Dark Skies is a horror concerning aliens and extraterrestrials, and it stars Keri Russell and Josh Hamilton. No, I'm not talking about the MLB player who went into a relapse, and a couple other people, including the kid who was in Real Steel and Thor. This kid, Dakota something. But he's going to be a star one day, I can see it. And the story is basically about this family, this ordinary family who's doing their own thing. They're living the family life. And suddenly, over the course of the next few nights, just like Paranormal Activity, some strange, zany events start to occur. And they don't know what's causing them. Is it them? Is it a robber? Is it a rabbit? Is it Bigfoot? Or is it aliens? My initial first impressions from watching the Dark Skies trailer and just seeing it in full glory was laughter and comedic. It looked like a comedy, like really stupid. And the trailer is pretty accurate based on what it shows. Dark Skies is a bad movie, but it's not really that comedic, no, in my opinion. And it does have a couple good moments and shining aspects that the potential just didn't really tap. So the story isn't anything out of the ordinary. It's pretty linear. It's pretty typical and cliched for a horror movie. It just involves aliens this time. The acting overall is serviceable for the most part. Keri Russell and the husband, at points they are very laughable with the acting, but they're serviceable for the plot and for the movie itself. Of the two kids, the kid who has been in a few movies lately, like Real Steel and Thor, he's gonna be on the rise. This kid is really good in my opinion. But the younger brother sucked. I don't really blame him though, because the people behind this movie didn't really have a solid direction to go towards. They just went, oh, Paranormal Activity with aliens? Ho-ho-ho-wee! The best part, acting and character-wise, was J.K. Simmons' role, which is very small, but he plays an alien expert of sorts, and he's been doing this for years, and he really actually made me believe that this might actually be happening on planet Earth. This movie is another perfect example of something I like to call cliched city. And there are cliches everywhere. Everyone in the book is probably there. The screenplay itself and the actual narrative is pretty bad. It's typical screenwriting lore. If I had a shot of Corona every time somebody said a line that I've seen or heard in another movie, I'd be extremely drunk. And I can tell you I'm a pretty heavyweight and Corona sucks. Other than that, however, I have no major complaints because I expected this to be bad or worse, and I got something that wasn't worse, so I'm glad and appreciative for that. But I do believe that there were some potentially cool things that could have occurred in this movie that just didn't transpire. This movie's about a family, like a lot of horror movies are, and some of the best horror movies do involve a family aspect. But I did like, more than the family thing, the whole environmental surroundings and societal surroundings. How people react to this family and what do they do in these situations. Another real complaint is that this movie is really serious and gritty and doesn't really have any lighthearted moments to ease the tension. It's also very annoyingly ambiguous and mysterious. Ambiguity is great for horror movies. I love it. And it's succeeded in times before in the past, but other times it's failed miserably. And it's the way that you construct the movie, because of all the cliches and the terrible dialogue and the way they went about setting up the story, it just didn't work. One cannot truly hold their suspension of disbelief throughout this movie. The birds flying towards the windows, and the people, oh my god, the people in this movie, the cops, the environmental experts, they're all idiots. There's so many times in this movie where the experts, not J.K. Simmons though, they'll be like, for example, oh, maybe it's your kid's fault. Or maybe it's just global warming. If 3 separate migrating flocks of birds fly straight towards your windows and hundreds of birds dying on your lawn, I think that there's something more impactful and bigger than people imagine or assume. It's not global warming or something in the environment. For the most part, I was pondering in fear and negativity, asking questions to the actual movie like a bumbling idiot for the first 2 acts, but I actually oddly enjoyed the final climatic battle of sorts. It was suspenseful, full of tension, a couple surprises with the shots and the cinematography that I actually was stunned by. I'm like, are they really showing some style right now? But then, when I think the movie is going in a cool direction towards the end, it just goes to a sort of cliched ending that you have seen before in a movie. Not to spoil, but if you have seen that one horror movie with Michael Keaton with the ghosts, the ending reminded me very much of that, thinking about it right now. Overall, Dark Skies is a bad movie. The first 2 acts are abysmal. Bad beyond measure. But then, if you could stick through it, there is some cool surprises. Despite my enjoyment of the climax though, this movie has too many faults to ignore. It's gonna be a movie that I will never watch again. It's a nuisance. A 1 out of 5. A one night stand rating, I'd give it a 0. Thankfully, Dark Skies wasn't the experience I was anticipating, but this is probably because I had such low expectations that I actually found some enjoyment in it. If you've seen Dark Skies, or you plan to see Dark Skies, let me know what you thought about it, or what you think about it already in the comments down below. Did you find enjoyment in the movie at all, or did you think it was a terrible piece of sugar honey iced tea? If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to MaffmanJones, and also like this video. Check out Facebook, Twitter, and We Live Film in the info box. I am John from MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. This movie had potential to be good. It could have been a fun horror alien movie. Nothing great like Signs, but it could have been good. But February. See you next time.